but I will think about that later. Right now, I need to focus on the task of how to get home. There really was a crash yesterday evening, the second one in just over 2 months, and my car is stranded, undrivable, half in and half out of a ditch near the hotel where I'm staying overnight, to break the solo drive back from Scotland. I ring the AA and give them my details. Yes, I say, a lone woman with 2 dogs. I wait for them to arrive. A short time later, my husband finally responds to the panicky text I sent him the night before. I tell him I'm making the 250-mile journey home on an AA truck. He says he has only just picked up my message. He is on the south coast, cold water trading and sharing a room with Nick, a fellow open water swimmer. He turned his phone off so as not to disturb his companion. I think that makes sense, especially as he is waiting to help me, full of concern, when I finally arrive home with my dogs at 10 p.m. that night. I'm clearly in shock and not thinking straight, I tell myself. Deep down, I know there is something terribly wrong with my brain, my life, or my marriage. I don't know which, maybe it's all 3, but in any case I refuse to look too closely. So in the morning, I do what I always do, what I have done whenever my home life becomes too complicated to endure. I go to work. For more than 2 decades, I have edited some of the most famous magazines in Britain, planning the content, commissioning writers, directing photographers, approving the layouts, and checking proofs. I write many of the headlines and stand firsts, the paragraph in bold type directly under the headline explaining what is to come. Sometimes I contribute an article as well, if deadlines allow, but there are 2 jobs I never delegate. I always write the cover lines myself, the most important 50 or so words for any magazine, and every one of the hundreds of editions I produced opened with a letter from the editor, a personal message from me to millions of readers, usually recounting an incident from my own life to set the tone for the issue. It was invariably upbeat, so I never relayed this story, the one I'm about to tell you, because it took me years to process. That night in the hotel in the Lake District, I had no idea what was happening. I didn't know my successful, perfectly bound life was about to unravel so fast it would make your head spin. 2 months earlier, 30th of October 2016, Essex. It is Sunday evening, dark, the night before Halloween. I'm driving the route I've taken many times from visiting my mother, but now want to get home in time to have dinner and prepare for a busy week ahead, working at the job I adore. My career has spanned many well-known magazines, Cosmopolitan, Esquire, Honey, She, Prima, but Good Housekeeping is my pride and joy. Bringing this grand old lady into the 21st century is how I made my name and my reputation, granting me access to A-listers, front row seats at fashion shows, interviews with politicians and royals. On my watch, it has become the biggest-selling lifestyle magazine in Britain. The road is smooth and dry, not too much traffic. 40 minutes earlier, I put the bigger of my 2 dogs, Belle, in the back of the car. My mother kissed me goodbye, telling me not to worry about Scarlett, still a puppy, who can't be looked after by our regular dog walker while I'm at work. We'd whiled away the afternoon drinking tea and chatting in the easy way we have always done, until I realised I needed to leave to get home in time for supper with my husband, who stayed at home to watch the football on TV. The first half hour of my journey takes me along narrow country lanes. I grew up in this part of Essex, a finger of agricultural land sandwiched between the rivers Crouch and Blackwater. Although the towns of Southend and Colchester are only a few miles away in either direction as the crow flies, there are no bridges over the rivers that form this peninsula. Laborious road journeys and infrequent public transport have left this part of the county largely untouched by the East End overspill that dominates much of the county. Here, the arable fields stretched for thousands of acres, as flat as the Netherlands, which is just 100 miles to the east across the North Sea. Only wind turbines puncture the overarching sky. In Anglo-Saxon times it was known as the Dengie Hundred. The name persists, but now those of us who hail from there refer to it simply as the Dengie. The car radio, tuned to Magic FM, is playing Cockney Rebel.